My father, having a little more knowledge, you know, parents are never too smart, right? Is that correct? Well, I thought so, the same thing. I was actually born in 1932, but my father registered me with the Gestapo as born in 1927, maybe 5 years older, in order to be able to get a work permit. And that's my work permit from the tailor shop, where I worked for 4 years for the Germans, with nothing, other than on a daily ration of 600 calories. Can anyone imagine 600 calories? You have any idea? You go to McDonald's? Not very often. Who goes to McDonald's?
13,000.
Nobody?
I do.
You know that little $1 hamburger that you buy with a piece of cheese? Well, take out the cheese, take out the hamburger, and just have that little piece of lettuce there with a little bit of mayonnaise, and you will have 450 calories. I lived on that on a daily basis for 4 years in the ghetto, working in the tailor shop. But that wasn't bad enough. Once the ghetto was evacuated in 1944, I'm jumping around a little bit, we were shipped off to Auschwitz without our knowledge where we were going. And in Auschwitz, my father and I, we played a game with the German Gestapo again. Because we spoke perfect German, I have no number on my arm. As you can see, some of them that I show it, you know, that always the number. I have a number, 96136. My father, 96135. And we played a game with him, because when you came to Auschwitz and they had the selection, my father showed an officer my work permit. He also showed him the registration from the Gestapo that I was born in 1927, that proved, and he begged him to let him go with me, because I had to go to the left side with my mother and my brother, because I was younger, where all the women went. Luckily, he convinced the officer to allow me to go with him. But when we went through what they called the shower, they took away all of our belongings, shaved our heads, shaved all of the hair off of us, and then put us up against a long table to register, because they said the first thing, henceforth you have no name. You are a number. And your number is 96136. And just remember that. That long table, they handed you a cap in stripes. The next man handed you a shirt. The next man handed you a pair of pants. And the only thing we had left of our own was the belt and the shoes. And every time you went to one of those stations, they kept asking, "What is your name?" Well, being a little boy, I kept forgetting. I kept telling them my name. They said, "No, what is your name?" And I had to give them my number. When I finally came to the last station, in order to be tattooed, my father and I had already decided a game we're going to play with the Gestapo there, with the SS. What was it? I came there and I said to the officer in German, "Sir, I have to go to the toilet." And he said, "No." And I said, "Yes." And he said, "No." And I said, "Yes." And we started arguing about the thing. Because in Judaism, it's forbidden to have a tattoo on your arm. The reason is because in the image of, you're all made in the image of God, and you can't tattoo God. So I kept arguing with him about going to the toilet. Not family said to him, if you don't let me go to the toilet, there's going to be a big mess right here. He decided, go, but come back. My father being behind me, he said, hey, I just lost my son, where is he? You know, acting like. So he said, go find him and come back and bring him. For 2 weeks we played this game, but we never went back to the same table because we knew for sure that the German officers are going to be at the same table. So my father and I do not have a tattoo because we just played this game and outsmarted them a little bit. I hope they'll have a little idea of what I went through, and let's see if I can sort of stop this picture here and continue with my next part of the, where it says English. Huh? You want the English version or you want the German version, the French version? Which version you want of the presentation?
You speak English.
Oh, English? Oh, okay. I don't know why. It's going to take a few moments to load. As you can see, it's loading. So I'll give you some other little background. August the 14th. I don't want all of those. I hope it works. It's a little early in the morning, like for you guys, right?
I wake up at 3.
Wake up. You can smile too, with help. I'm trying to move this computer, but you know something about computers? I wish I'd have never had the opportunity to develop any of this electronic gadgetry because it has become a hindrance. We don't talk to each other anymore. We text each other, we tweet each other, but we don't know each other. One of these days, what's going to happen is that computer's not going to work. Where is it? There it is. I want to give you a little quick history. 1933, 1935, 1939. You will see in Germany what the Jewish people had to go through. But it says, Jews enter at your own risk. And here's a policeman sitting on his bicycle in 1933. Or if you were Jewish, you were not allowed to sit on a bench in a park. Or desecration of the Jewish cemeteries. Jews' death will solve your problem. Then came Kristallnacht in 1938. Or graffiti on the synagogues. Or a little sign here on a tailor shop, Jews are not welcome. When I was liberated in 1945 in Germany, in Landsberg, I spoke to the people on the street, around the plaza where I used to work. And they told me one thing. In Germany, and in Landsberg in particular, which is in Bavaria, this is where Hitler spent his time in jail when he was writing the book Mein Kampf. They said, in Landsberg, we had no anti-Semitism. We had 12 Jewish families. We collected money for them to get them out of town so Hitler wouldn't be able to put them in a concentration camp. But they emphasized we had no anti-Semitism in our town. Being a researcher, already at the age of 13, I went to the local newspaper and started looking. And I found this local newspaper advertisement. And what did it say, going back to 1938 in Landsberg? Jews will not be served in this hotel. I found the same kind of advertisement for Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Kodak, General Motors, and other American companies who conspired throughout the war with the German regime. Because had it not been for IBM, the German machine couldn't function. So I suggest to you, if you want to read a book about the Holocaust, read the book IBM and the Holocaust. You will find how they conspired with the Germans. Because the Germans had the machine and IBM had the punch cards. And they were selling them the punch cards. And those punch cards constantly ran the machine. Everything that they did, the Germans were very systematic about keeping records. Today, if you go into Arlesen in Germany, that they just opened up to the public, you will find 550 million pieces of documentation of what transpired during World War II that the Germans did. And today we have the saying in here about the Holocaust, never again. I come to schools to talk about this, never again. Why? Because not only did Hitler try to eradicate a group of people, which were the Jewish people, and he managed, his machine, to eradicate 6 million, but also because of his egotism, he also managed to kill over 40 million people during World War II. 20 million Russians alone died on the Stalingrad front. So I'm not talking about the Jewish people alone, but I'm talking about never, never again. The world is yours. The world is still mine for, I don't know, maybe another 50 years. If you don't believe it, I'm 39 years old today. If you believe that, I have a bridge to send you. But what I want to show you is what they did in 1938. Burning down all synagogues, expelling all the Jews from Germany. And this is what I saw as a little boy, not only in 1938, but I saw it back in 1936, 1935, in our own city, where the Germans were with the Heil Hitler, because 80% of the population of Lodz, of 600,000, were Christians, but 80% of the Christians were former Germans, called Volksdeutsche. And they were just delighted that Germany invaded us. Here is the journey that you can see. Can you, is it working? Oh, it is. I was born in Lodz, Poland. This little journey to Auschwitz on a good, fast Polish train or slow train would take about 6 hours. We traveled that locked up in cattle cars for 2 days and 3 nights, only to exterminate people in a fast way before reaching the next destination. And the next destination was Auschwitz. Or from Auschwitz, when I was telling you the next journey into Dachau in 1944, in August, September, actually. 4 days and 4 nights. No food, no water, and locked up in cattle cars. This is our synagogue that was destroyed in 1939. At the same time, about November, is when they destroyed the monument. The Polish city government had already a mandate of every day how many Jews will have to go to work, 600 of them on a daily basis to do menial tasks. And then came humiliation. The humiliation was to take the religious people and cut off their beards. The chief rabbi had to put on his prayer shawl and all religious paraphernalia while the Germans stood around cutting off his hair and laughing about this entire thing. And if that humiliation wasn't good enough, they picked up people off the street and hung them on lampposts in order to have pictures taken